Hi, my name is Shawn Hayes and my company is CompSE Designs, and today I'll be showing you how to add a listing or a product to your eBay store. And as you can see, we're already logged into the store that we're using as demo. The store is actually Thread, which is a clothing store, a women's clothing store of trendy and different kinds of clothing, and she's in downtown San Diego, and this is her eBay store, and we're just going to be setting up just one product for the store. So the first thing you want to make sure you have is some categories in your store. So if you don't already, what you want to do is go to store categories over here and then click on that, and then you're going to add a category. We already have the categories that we need for this store just for now, so we don't actually need to do that. So I'm going to go back, and then when you're actually on the store, if you have categories already, then what you're going to want to do is click this little Start Selling tab here, and then we're going to list an item, and then it's going to ask you for the UPC or the ISBN. If you actually have that, you want to enter it here because it'll give you, just some suggestions and even sometimes pull up some pictures for you, depending on what your product is. So that's a good idea. But we actually don't have the UPC for this one. It's a Wild Couture animal print dress, so we're going to copy that. Let's put in Wild Couture and copy the top part. That's going to actually be the name of our category, and just search. And it's going to go, this is actually eBay's categories. This isn't your store categories, don't get that mixed up. So we're going to put it in women's clothing. Let's continue. And then it's going to ask us if we have different types of items, like sizes, or if there's different options for your actual product. We actually do have different sizes, so we're going to click yes. So now that we have the different sizes here, we want to add a size. So once we've added that, we can add small. And we have small, medium, and large, so we're going to add medium, and then add one more, and then large, and then just press continue. And the size type is just going to be regular, and the brand, they don't actually have our brand here, so what we're going to do is enter ours. So it's Wild Couture, so type in Wild Couture, or whatever the name of your product is. The sleeves are actually long sleeves, and as you can see from the picture of our product, it's a long sleeve product, so I'm going to go ahead and put that in there. And then the color, we're going to use, it's got blacks in it mostly, so we'll put black, and no shades. Occasion is, it's a cocktail evening dress, and the length is above the knee. Material, it's, as we can see from our description, it's a bunch of different materials, but we're going to just use acrylic. The pattern is it's an animal print, so we'll click animal prints, and then just press continue. And then this is actually a custom SKU that you can use. We're not going to use this, we're just going to use one single SKU and then let it create it for all three of our sizes. So we're just going to call this animal print dress right there. It's already found it for us. And then see, it creates it for us already, so that's much easier than typing each individual one in. eBay's pretty smart, so it figures that out for us. Press continue. And then it's going to want to add a picture here. And if there there's some differences in your product, like for ours it's just small, medium, large of the same dress, so there's not that many differences. But if there is differences in your product, you're going to want to add a picture for each product. But since ours is the same, we're just going to share one picture, and you just press add. And then you're going to get to this standard screen. Depending on your browser, sometimes this works weird, so you might want to go to the basic, but standard usually works pretty good. And we're just going to hit the browse button, and then as you can see, it's already found our location where our animal print dress is. If not, you'd have to use the option to actually find it, but since it's already there, we're just going to click on it. Let's open, and then we have some options here. Personally, I don't find the Gallery Plus to be of value, so I try to not use that. The picture pack is free, so we keep that one and then just press upload. And then, as you can see, it added it. And then once we press continue, it'll populate these three, so we don't got to worry about those. And there you go. It's continued. And then it's going to want a price for each of these. If they're different prices for small, medium, and large, then you want to go ahead and put the different prices in. But ours is the same, so we can just click on this little button right there and make sure it check marks all of them, and then just edit the fixed price. And our product is actually going to be $58, so just press $58 and then press save. And then this is where we're actually going to input our store category. So don't get those two confused. The last one was eBay store. This is our store category. So we're just going to use one category here in our store, which is dresses and evening dresses. So we have some subcategories too, so we're just going to use this one though. And if you had more subcategories that you wanted to add, you could add them right here, but we're just going to leave evening dresses. And then the title of our product is going to be animal print or wild couture animal print dress. So wild couture, the animal print dress that I already found it for us. No subtitle. I don't find this useful. I think it's as the gallery, it's not really what I use. If you decide that you want to, that's entirely up to you, but it's not usually what I use. The condition, our product is actually new with tags. If your product was different, then you'd want to go ahead and put that. We don't have the UPC. If you did have the UPC, then you'd want to go ahead and put that here. We already put regular, so we're going to keep that. The brand is Wild Couture. It's long sleeve. It's black, and so we already have all this already done. That's our picture that we've already added from the last step, so it's already inputted that. And then if you know HTML, you can actually do some cool things with HTML and make the inside of your actual listing where it puts all the copy in the text here. But we're just going to use the standard version, just to make this tutorial a little easier. So we already wrote out all the text, so we're just going to take this and copy it, and paste that in there. And these little items we wanted in bullets, but eBay tends to make things a little strange with the formatting. So usually we try to leave off the bullets, otherwise they don't work right. And the same with these types of things, like it tends to put in spaces and things like that. So we just try to go ahead and get rid of them. And then so we'll highlight this, and then actually hit this little bullets mark right here, and then it'll fix it for us. Right there. Just fix your formatting, just like that too. And then that seems pretty good. It's going to look nice. And then if you want to actually add a designer listing, I've used this a few times. It's very cheap. It's only 10 cents. And if you want to add a theme, you can add different borders. There's a bunch of different. You can go through and choose the one that you like the best. It's only 10 cents, so sometimes it can really make your listing pop. We're not going to do it for this tutorial, but just go ahead and look through that. And you can decide if it'll work for your listing. And then once we get down here, we can show that it's already got our price. We have a quantity of 3 because we have a small, medium, and large, so we have to have at least 3. If there's more, you can change that. If it's unlimited, let's say you're drop shipping and it's coming from a supplier, you can raise this amount. But we're actually just going to put the 3. And then the duration, this is actually going to be a buy it now. So we're just going to put the duration at 30 days. Some people like to put the good till it's canceled. I don't recommend that, because the way that eBay's search engine works, it tends to put, or actually it does put, the listings that are ending soonest at the top of the search, and unless the user actually changes that, as a sort result, then your listing will never show at the top. So 30 days is a good amount of time for if your item is going to sell without being at the top, it's going to get sold. And if not, then as your listing gets closer to the end, it'll get more to the top of the search engine. So that's how I do that. And then I actually tend to have my listings end on a Sunday at 5 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, but that's not actually the time now. But eBay gives you this nice option just to put in the day that you actually want it to start. So it's going to end the day that you start, so you have to calculate that out. So, but we're not going to do that for this time, but just in the future, if you want your listing to end on Sunday at 5, because that's when most people are home, or most people who are shopping online are going to be home, and they're still going to be awake, and Sunday's a good day because they haven't gone out, and you're just going to have the biggest target audience. So we're not going to do that for this listing, just because this listing is just a demo. So we're just going to keep that at start listing immediately. And if you want to give away, a donation to the Boys and Girls Club, you can do that just by clicking here. We're not going to do that. And then we want to keep PayPal on here. And then for the US shipping, we're going to make this a flat rate. Just, but you can actually calculate it depending on the size. But just because this is a demo and to make it easier, we're just going to keep this flat rate. If you wanted to actually use eBay's tool to calculate the cost, you just go ahead and click on there, and then it's going to change the settings here, and you're going to want to pick what size the package is, and then put in the size. Be careful with this. I've had a number of times when eBay has calculated my shipping actually lower than what it actually cost me. So you want to be really careful with this. Sometimes I put in the size or the weight as a little bit heavier, that way it gives me some padding, or you can even put in a handling cost. Sometimes that helps too, just so eBay doesn't actually cost you money with the shipping. But we're just going to put a flat fee, so let's go back to flat fee. And then we're going to say that we're going to use USP parcel post, and then the cost is going to be just $10 for shipping. If you want more than one, you want to buy both of our dress or all three of our dresses, then it's just $10 extra. If you have free shipping, you can go ahead and click on free shipping. International shipping, I tend to lean away from international shipping, just because I've found for most of the products that I've sold, it's really going to depend on your product, but most of the products that I've sold are a lot easier to sell just to Americans. I've had a big enough target audience to just sell to the United States, and you don't have to worry about international shipping, and it's somewhat safer too. So I tend to stay with only selling to Americans in the United States. So you can make that decision for yourself. But for international shipping, I'm just going to go ahead and click no international shipping. I'll go ahead and change for me. And then buyer requirements are basically who can bid on your item. And these are a really good tool that eBay released a few years back that makes it so I used to have the problem where I'd have no international shipping, and I'd have people in Canada or in China actually bid on my item, and it was just really a headache. You have to cancel their bid and tell them not to bid again, and it's just a pain. But they've made it so you can make these requirements. So this is a really good tool. So we're going to just click on this change buyer requirements, and then we actually, if they have a primary shipping address outside of the United States, then that solves that problem. I tend to click the other two here as well. If they have policy violations, and if they have a feedback less than -1 or -1 and less, then I don't want them bidding on my items. So I click that as well. And then the bottom one I leave unchecked, just because if they are buying multiple items from me, then I'm happy about that. Click save. And then for a return policy, it just depends on your policy. You have to decide, with your business plan, what's going to make sense for you. For me, because it's eBay and because of the shipping and the way that I've set up my businesses, I don't usually accept returns. So I'm just, for this demo, we're just going to press no returns accepted. But if you do accept returns, then you want to go ahead and fill that out as well. So down here in additional checkout instructions, I usually put I have a pre-written statement that I've already put in our Word document here. Just that there's a surcharge on all shipments to Alaska, Hawaii, and Puerto Rico. Just to please email me or contact me through eBay if you actually do live in these locations, so I can give you a correct price. Just because they're a lot more than normal shipping, I just want to be sure that whoever is bidding on my item knows the shipping cost. So let's copy that and paste that into here, and then we just press continue after that. Yeah, it looks like I missed something, and this will happen to you too. Don't worry, it saved everything else. You just have to go down, and I fixed the handling time. Alright, I missed the handling time, so let's go down here and fix that. That's going to be in shipping, which is right there, and it's going to highlight it for you. And I usually say 3 days. This gives you enough time to get whatever you have to do, whether you're busy or not. 3 days should be a good amount of time. You really should be shipping within 3 days. If you're not, then you can get some bad feedback if your shipping is taking too long. Let's click on that, and then just press continue. We should be good now. And then this is actually just a review of your listing, and then they'll try to sell you Gallery Plus again and force subtitles and bold. I don't usually recommend that you use those. They don't seem to make a big difference for me, so I've never really used them. But you can make that decision and try it out if you like. And it's showing our picture. We got that, and our price, and our shipping. And then what I usually like to do is to go down here to preview listing. Be aware of the difference between preview listing up here and preview listing down here. They are different. You want to use this one. And then it'll open our listing, and this is actually what the listing is going to look like on eBay search, not in your store. In their eBay search, if somebody found your item just by going to eBay. And then as we scroll down, as you can see, it's got our animal print dress, wild couture, and it says you can browse by store and visit our store, and it's perfect. Everything's correct. So we just want to go ahead and list item. So we go ahead and click list item, and it's going to say congratulations, you listed your item. And that's basically, the process of listing an item. So now that we've actually listed our item and it's live on eBay, it should be showing up in our eBay store. So I already have ThreadSD's store open in Internet Explorer over here, and as you can see, there's no items yet in the store. So once we refresh the page, the item should show up. So refresh the page. And there we go. There's our item. Everything worked according to plan. And that's basically how you add an eBay listing to eBay and your store. If you have any questions, you can email me at Shawn@CompSE.com or info@CompSE.com, or you can visit us at CompSE.com. And please let me know if you have any questions. I'm happy to help. Thank you.